Hi guys, I am back here to answer some of your frequently asked questions about online counseling with me. So the main question that I always get is simply, how does online therapy work? Online therapy works thanks to many different counseling platforms that are out there today on the internet. So I use Simple Practice, and with Simple Practice, there's a calendar, and I basically schedule our appointment. You will get some reminders for our appointments so that you don't forget them, and we can either meet through the platform itself for video sessions, and they actually have a great app that you can download on your phone so you don't have to meet me from your computer. And I like to use an app called Signal as just a bit of a backup that we can also meet by video in case there's something wrong with Simple Practice. And if you don't want to meet by video, we can meet by phone or by text. And again, if you would like to be texting with me rather than video or phone calling, we would meet there on Signal, which is basically a texting app. So the other great thing about Simple Practice is that is where you will fill out and electronically sign any of your client paperwork, and you will put your credit card information right in there, and you will be automatically billed for our sessions. So basically, online counseling is pretty nice and seamless and very convenient. And so the next question that I naturally get is online therapy legal? Is it secure? Is it HIPAA compliant? And yes, it is absolutely legal, um, HIPAA compliant, and very secure. Thanks to Simple Practice, the platform that I use, make sure that all of our communications are very secured and abiding by the HIPAA laws, so you don't have to worry about that. The next question that I hear a lot is, what happens if there are technical difficulties? Like I mentioned before, I like to have my clients download an app called Signal as kind of like a backup in case internet goes down with Simple Practice or with your home Wi-Fi and want to use data on Signal. We can meet by phone through Signal, by text, or by video. And of course, the good old phone is always a very nice backup. And even if it's just some brief technical difficulties in the beginning of a session, we try to get through them as quickly as possible. And Simple Practice has technical support always just a chat away to try and get those things under control as soon as we possibly can. Another question I get, which isn't exactly online counseling related, is if I accept insurance. And no, I do not take insurance, and there are reasons for that. And first of all, it's very difficult for counselors to accept insurance. It can be a lot of paperwork. But more importantly, insurance usually demands that we provide diagnoses maybe before we feel comfortable doing so. And of course, some people don't even really need a diagnosis, and I feel uncomfortable having to give you some kind of a label if that's not really necessary. And on top of that, insurance companies have a tendency to dictate how many sessions that you need. And very often that is not consistent with what I may think that you need or what you may think that you need. With all that said, I do, through Simple Practice, I offer something called a super bill, which is basically a fancy receipt that some insurance companies will accept to reimburse you for what you do pay me for your counseling. Another question that I tend to get is, if I've never been to counseling before, is online counseling right for me? And yes, totally, online counseling is good for many people, and it's totally fine if you've never done counseling before. And then another question I get is if I provide couples counseling, and unfortunately I don't have that training, so I'm just not fully comfortable with providing couples counseling. And then of course people ask a lot, can I quit counseling at any time? Counseling is always your decision. If you want to quit and you don't want to be in it anymore, you can just give me that heads up and say that you don't want to be doing this anymore. Of course, I will give you my professional feedback and I'll tell you if I think that's a good idea or not, but it's ultimately always up to you. With that said, I will always be very clear and transparent. Like if I think that you've done really well and you are ready to graduate, I will let you know. I'm not going to keep you in therapy forever. And then people ask pretty frequently when is my availability basically. I'm available currently Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, pretty much all day, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And unfortunately, that's pretty strict. I have a nanny that needs to come to the house to take care of kids, so I can't really spontaneously meet on the weekends and everything like that. So hopefully those times can work for you, and I try to be as flexible as I can. And then something else that a lot of people ask is if they can be anonymous while working with me. You know, online therapy makes it seem like that you might be able to do that, and there may be some counseling platforms out there that allow for that, but I'm not fully okay with that due to my ethics and some legal stuff. So I am going to ask for your full name and for your address and phone number. And I also ask for a photo ID, a picture of your photo ID, whether that's, a library card or if it's a passport, just something with your full name on it that you would upload into Simple Practice just so that I know that you are who you say you are. And that's pretty important when working online in case any emergencies happen to come up. And then, of course, people are wondering what kind of technology do they need to have and understand and be able to use in order to do online counseling with me. And really, if you've got a good smartphone, you have a tablet, both of those things will work with downloading the couple of apps that we use for our video sessions. And if you would like to work on a computer, just as long as you have a webcam, we should be good to go. Oh, and of course, internet access. And I ask to make sure that you are close to your router if you're using your Wi-Fi or getting good signal from your data provider. And then finally, the last question I'll cover here is what do I need to do to get started? So even if we have chatted on email or if you've reached out to me through some other way, I will ask that you go through my website to fill out a application for a free 15-minute consultation. And from there, we'll schedule a time to chat on the phone. We can also chat by video. I would send you a Zoom meetings link so that we can meet by video. And in that consultation, you are free to ask me questions about my approach and anything that isn't exactly covered here if you've already listened to this video. And I can also ask you some very general screening questions just to make sure that we would be a good fit. And if we decide to move forward from there, you will be getting an email from me with a link to get started with your account on Simple Practice. You will fill out and sign a few forms like emergency contact information, just signing a client agreement, and a privacy practices form that most doctors' offices will have. And I'll have a little questionnaire there for you to fill out and just a few other little things, and then I'll get you on the schedule once you're all set up, and we will move forward from there. So those are all of the answers that I have for you today. Thank you so much for listening. And if you have any other questions that I wasn't able to cover today, please feel free to shoot me an email at therapist@sinamoran.com. And also, like I said, you can head to my website, sinamoran.com, and fill out an application for that initial consult, and I'll be happy to answer all of your questions there. Talk to you later.